Mr. Galvin?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I met with the developer and the Oaks representative today at the same time in my office. That made it a lot easier for me to know where everybody stands at the same time. And this idea of an additional road onto 151st Street was broached. I don't know if we're still at the same place we were when you and I spoke this morning at about 11. Where this road has a specific path. I don't know if... I then heard from Andy Hellinger on behalf of the Oaks about 4 o'clock this afternoon saying that he had concerns that a secondary entrance onto 151st Street wasn't advertised to the public and therefore the Oaks had issue. I'd like to know sort of, once this is opened up for discussion by the parties, where you both stand. I get the need and the desire to have an extra entrance onto 151st Street, but having heard late today from Mr. Hellinger, I'm concerned that we're making a mess of things. So I just, at some point, Madam Mayor, like to know where the parties stand.
Mm-hmm.
May I say something?
Sure.
Sure.
Did you take the oath?
No,
Yeah.
I'd love to, though. No.
Yes, he has.
I thought you did. Didn't you
Yes, he
stand
did.
up? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay.
Maybe you didn't stay there for a reason, Michael. You sure you have to talk?
Just this one time. We completely agree with Councilman Key's assessment. We do need a second exit onto 151, and we need a traffic light. We're going to try our best to get a traffic light. We can guarantee you that we will build a second exit. The traffic light, of course, is you get as warranted, but we think there's enough traffic there now to probably get us a traffic light. The road, the alignment of the road that goes from the Spine Road to 151st Street will go there as gently and easily as possible. It will either cross some property that presently is owned by the Oaks, where they will grant us an easement, or it will not. We hope it does. But we have now convinced ourselves by dealing with the traffic engineers that we can build a road from the Spine Road to 151st Street, put a traffic light there, and generally clear up any congestion when exiting this property. So we have absolutely no problem with Ms. Keyes providing us with some language that assures that you will get there. We have no problem making it a condition.
Okay. Apparently, the issue right now, the concern that the councilman has, is not so much about what Ms. Keys want, but remember that we already have tenants on the Oaks that have issues as well. And
The Oaks really shouldn't be part of this conversation.
No, we're not discussing the Oaks, but
Okay.
we're discussing, because that they're part, no matter what, you're gonna have to live with them. They're gonna be your neighbors.
Yes.
So we're gonna decide to move the road where it was advertised that we were agreed on to another location. We're gonna have to deal with them.
Of
But
course.
this is not. Hold on, it's okay. But this is not the model yet. That's not where we are now. So, but let's hear about the concern, because this is the Councilman District. Let me hear the concern that he has. Probably some of these constituents already talked to him about. Go ahead, Scott. Are you done? Is that
Well, I
is your
just...
concern?
There was a specific map shown to me today that is not part of the public record right now. If you were presenting that to me as a conceptual idea,
Yes.
that's one thing. If it's being presented as this is what the road will look like idea, I have concerns that it hasn't been advertised to the public. If we're just conceptually agreeing to the idea that this is something we're going to work out after the Labor Day holiday, I'm cool with that. I just need to know, You three and me met in my office today.
That's correct.
I don't know how much has changed since this morning because I heard from Mr. Hellinger so late in the afternoon. So, where, if I might ask, does the Oak stand on this conceptual 151st Street exit?
Can I hold on a minute, madam? Can I clarify, because I'm not sure that I follow where you're at this point. From what I understand, the little partner present to us a conceptual plan for the Spine Road. But yesterday, I think, that was yesterday that I was presented with a change.
Right.
Are you saying that you're not comfortable with the change, but you are comfortable with what was advertised? Or are you comfortable with the change, but not what was advertised?
Yeah, the Spine Road, I don't think anybody seems to have an issue with. It's that change. It's that little leg that was added that I just saw this morning.
Okay.
That I'm unclear on.
Can I speak to that, Councilman?
If both parties feel this is a cool change, and the city management feels we're okay because it hasn't been advertised, I'm okay. If everybody has an issue, then I'd be willing to continue it a couple of weeks. I'm just unclear where we stand now.
Right, and the time to decide that is not upon us at this discussion. What's before us is purely the Spine Road as it's been designed, as it was configured with our master plan that you passed back in early July, and that's all that's before you now. I was asked to entertain other options to provide a signalized intersection on 151st Street, giving the current location of Biscayne Landing Boulevard. I did that with my engineers. What you saw is a concept and is one of about 3 that were currently under consideration. We haven't made a decision yet. We have further discussions with neighbors that have to take place. Once we arrive at a decision on our part, we will come back before you with a separate submittal for that section of road and all of the other appurtenances that go with that. That was just purely to offer one of several solutions to a concern that one of your council members had.
Legal question. Madam City Attorney, if we pass this conceptual plan tonight, so we have no clue where this road will go through the land. That's what they're going to have to come before us to tell us exactly where it's going. Or right now, if we pass it with the idea exactly what's in the plan right now.
That's correct. So you have a Spine Road plan in your
before
packet.
Me right now.
Yes, an exhibit.
So if they would have, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead. I pay you a lot of money to speak, so go ahead and speak. I apologize.
Do something.
So that is what you would be approving tonight.
What is
the Spine Road?
The plan.
The plan.
Itself.
That's correct.
Yeah. My understanding is that they would have to come back.
If there is a change.
If there's any changes.
Well, you can approve it with conditions.
Yeah, I understand that. But I just want to be clear that if whatever that we pass tonight, whatever before us tonight, that's what we pass. If there will be a change, for example, I don't mind. I have no problem supporting this plan right now the way that it is. For the fact of the matter that was not advertised with the change. Apparently, I think that's the consensus somehow up here. But I just want to be clear that whatever that we voted on tonight, that's what it is.
Correct. And again, this would be a separate submittal, a whole road and intersection unto itself. Should we decide where it needs to go, we will then come back before you with a similar application for another section of roadway. It's not tonight.
Okay, I'm hearing 2 different things.
That's a separate section. You're here for the Spine Road. He's discussing a separate section, and I'm not privy to whatever information that Councilman Galvin was given earlier today. So I'm unaware of
what I'm concerning right now. That I want to be clear. Apparently, I'm not a lawyer. I think it's a good thing because you guys cannot make up your mind to tell me one thing. What I understand that I'm about to vote on is a conceptual plan for the Spine Road that will take place, which we take a ride around 151st.
Right. It's the precise plan for the Spine Road. What he's discussing is a separate matter. It's a separate, and I've not seen it, so I cannot comment on what this other, what is this
Madam
other
City Attorney.
allocation
Madam
with
City
reference
Attorney.
to this other road?
We-
It is the,
Please.
it's
Hold
the
on, hold on.
spine road that is before you tonight, the spine road.
And that's it. There shouldn't
That's it.
be any addition or deletion from what we
We
were
have, yes.
presented tonight. Is that correct, Madam City Attorney?
There shouldn't be, I'm sorry?
There shouldn't be any addition or deletion without coming in front of this body for approval
they can-
before they
they
can
can-
put and add anything?
They can add conditions. You can say that I would like for you to add a condition for, just like Councilwoman Keys stated, for condition for, to review the idea of a traffic light.
Vice
So you
Mayor
can add
Scarrow,
conditions.
the question of Vice Mayor is very simple. What are we being asked to vote on tonight?
The spine road.
Okay.
And Vice Mayor, that's it?
You see, tonight, I didn't plan to spend like an hour or 2 hours, although we don't have a discussion on Biscuit Landing. Apparently, we plan to spend 2 hours. I'm going to make it much easier. The fact that this has been around for many months, and we have been sitting with the developer. I'm going to make a motion. Doesn't have to pass. If it doesn't pass, then we'll have another motion. I am making a motion, which I did. I already make a motion to move this item as it presented before us, as advertised, and I think it was second by
Mr. Bien-Aimé.
Mr. Bien-Aimé. So let's have a roll call, if you allow me, Madam Mayor, and then if it doesn't pass, then we move on. So we should not have 2 hours on this item.
Mr. Clerk,
This is an important item. We should have discussion.
Councilman Bien-Aimé,
We did.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
No.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Measure passes 4-1.
May I ask one last question before everybody leaves? In my office today, Mr. Swerdlow, you represented it, Herb, you represented that you would meet with Oaks right after the Labor Day holiday to work out your remaining differences.
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't,
item.
I don't believe this is an Oaks issue, and I would like to put Councilwoman Key's mind to rest. We will morally and legally, if you want us to, absolutely accept the obligation to build a road that connects the Spine Road to 151 and to try our darndest to get a traffic light.
Understood. I'm not asking about any spine roads or roads. There are
May.
other differences
We
between
will resolve them, Scott,
right after the
Councilman
Labor Day holiday.
No, it's okay.
sometime after the holiday.
Well, yeah, it has to be sometime
We can vote
after,
on
but
it
will it be
again if you like.
immediately after, as you told
It'll
me
be
today?
when Mr. Hellinger returns from vacation.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you. Before we continue, Mr. Clerk, I would like to recognize the presence of our state representative, Ms. Daphne Campbell, from District 108. Welcome.
Yay. And our lobbyist, Ron Book, thank you for coming. Well, I'm not sure if you're a lobbyist today or if you...
Tab I. May I proceed, Mayor?
Yes.
A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, revising the guidelines for the selection of honorees to the city's Hall of Fame, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Madam Mayor, I have a couple questions, or one question.
Do we...
Let me ask a question. If we voted on a matter, if you voted on a item the same day, can we move it, bring it back, and vote on it again? Is that
No,
legal?
ma'am. You cannot.
Okay.
Quick question. No, just let me have some definition from our city manager before you can go ahead and ask your question regarding tab I, please.
I'm sorry. This is yours. This is, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor.
Bien-Aimé's item.
This is Councilman Bien-Aimé's
Well,
item.
I think I missed something. What was the question? Was there a question on the floor?
Mr. Galvin has a question regarding tab I that the
Oh, I'm
clerk
sorry.
just read, and I would like for you to give us
Overview.
an overview of what it is before Mr. B. It will probably answer the questions that Councilman Galvin may have.
And I'm going to
Oh,
defer
okay.
to the attorney.
I'd be happy to do
Go
that.
ahead, yes.
So as you're aware, you have a Citizens Hall of Fame resolution that's been in place for some time. And I believe the resolution before you requests that rather each council person submits an application for recommendation of someone per year, that be moved to per term. And I'm sorry, the sound is really, is it me? Okay. Is it rather than per year, it'd be per the term of the particular council person? I don't know if that addresses your answer.
That
but-
was my concern. My concern is that this only allows council members, it first says only council members can nominate somebody, and then it says you can only nominate one per term. I think that's a long time. I get it. We were going hog wild, appointing 3 and 4 a night for a little bit there. But I do think that maybe 1 or 2 per calendar year is okay. I wouldn't see myself doing a lot more than that, but 1 per term, that's 1 every 4 years. There might be very deserving people that we just overlook as a result. That was my concern, was tab number 9, item number 9, is that it was only 1 per term.
Well, that's, during your discussion, you can either make a motion to amend, or you can discuss
Currently, is
it.
it 1 per year?
It's 1 per year.
So the only change that we're being asked to adopt tonight is go from 1 per year to 1 per term.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I understand if the councilman is putting this forward that he wants to make sure we slow down the circus, that's cool. But I just think 1 per term, 1 per 4 years is a little bit limiting.
What do you think? With the people,
Councilwoman, we're on tab I.
Hall of Fame, 1 per term.
So what is the, sorry guys.
It's the Citizens Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right now, we can nominate 1 per year as a council member. This would change it to make it 1 per term, which basically is 1 for 4 years, or if you're the mayor, 1 every 2 years.
Okay. Here's how I feel in this matter. There was a time that Citizens Hall of Fame has totally, it was so meaningful that you have to die for the city in order for you to be up there. And I think that right now you just have to have the same name like me, or if I like you, I'll put you up there. So I think when I see this on the agenda, I think it's hooray. I don't think that if I only have 2 terms left, anyone, I don't, well, let me save my speech. I support the item. Because I'm sure that all of us understand why is it that it's very important for us to understand that the person has to go beyond the understanding what a citizen's job is in order to be in a Hall of Fame. How we're going to do it, by already have a whole wall of fame, I'm not sure, but if you want to put a stop into it right now, I think it's a good time.
Maybe we need a bigger wall, don't you think so?
No, we need a strict, almost strict rules. So what is it? Is it once for a lifetime?
No.
No, once per
1
term.
per council and mayor per term.
Per term?
Yes.
Well, that's not bad. That doesn't mean that if I have 2 terms, so I can actually have 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. You make a motion?
Yes.
I second it.
Mr. City Clerk?
Councilman Bieneman,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin,
No.
I don't want to be last again.
Vice Mayor Steril,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Item passes 4-1. Tab K, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the purchase of real property for the expansion of the city of North Miami Winston Water Treatment Plant and the sale of real property under the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
What I don't. Yeah.
Call.
Second.
What?
Do we need a public hearing on this?
Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Public hearing is open.
What item?
Public hearing is now closed. Madam, Mr. Clerk.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
Yes.
Councilman Bienemay.
Yes.
All right.
L.
Tab L, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the submittal of an application to Miami-Dade County to annex into the city of North Miami an area known as the Northeast 149th Street Annexation Area and bordered on the north side by Northeast 149th Street, on the east side by Northeast 11th Avenue, including those unincorporated portions of Northeast 11th Court, on the south side by Northeast 147th Street, and on the west side by Northeast 10th Court, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
I move the item, Madam Mayor.
Second for L.
Discussion.
I would like to speak, if I may. Is the public hearing open?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have to identify?
Yes, you do.
Okay, my name is Ann Cates. I live at 13939 Northwest First Avenue. I've been a resident of Biscayne Gardens, the area that you are looking to annex a piece of. More than one piece, but I think there's only one piece on the agenda this evening. First of all, Madam Mayor, I'd like to congratulate you on your election.
Thank you.
You may not remember me, but many years ago,
I do. I do.
we fought
Definitely.
very hard.
Yes.
One time we won, the next time we didn't.
That's correct.
Anyway, okay. I've been a resident of Biscayne Gardens since 1965, and in 1947, the residents through the Biscayne Gardens Civic Association, of which I am now co-president, got together and filed a charter with the state of Florida, the Secretary of State of the state of Florida, setting boundaries for an unincorporated area which they named Biscayne Gardens. Now, I don't know if that has any legal significance, but when the new incorporation era started back in 1997, we formed a steering committee and we started the incorporation process. We appointed a MAC, of which I was a member, and we got to the point where we changed our boundaries. At that time, the mantra of the county commission was, "Thou shalt not create any enclaves." So we took all of the unincorporated area. Our original boundary with the Secretary of State ended at Northeast 6th Avenue. We took the rest of the area that was unincorporated, and it even crossed West Dixie Highway at some point. Now, recently, North Miami, here I'm going to put this map into the record. The circles show that the areas that North Miami appears to be seeking to annex. We're 5 square miles. We have over 32,000 residents. We have some commercial. You just cherry-picked a strip of our commercial when you annex the area east of the Biscayne Canal, south of 135th, and it ends at Northeast 4th Avenue. You got the BP station. You got that little strip mall where there's a grocery store, there's a laundromat, there's a couple other things. There's apartments upstairs. There's an apartment building. Aspira is on the banks of the canal, and of course they're tax exempt, but you did take away $87,000 in revenue from our area of proposed incorporation. Now, when our MAC got to the point where we could go before the Planning Advisory Board, that's when the moratorium set in 2007. So we were thwarted and prevented from going any further. Now that the moratorium is lifted, Commissioner Monesteem has reappointed our MAC. We've already had 2 meetings. We're going to complete the process. We don't have to do the petition process. They're going to allow all the MACs that were in process to go forward. So Biscayne Gardens has been fighting for many years to become its own city. And the piece that you already took had less than 250 residents. So those people became residents of North Miami without having a voice. Their taxes overnight went from 1.9 mils to whatever yours is. I believe it's 8.1. And I know that the majority of the residents of Biscayne Gardens would not want to be annexed by any of our surrounding cities, North Miami Beach, Miami Gardens, and God forbid Opelika, that's almost at 10 mils.
We need to wrap up.
But they're not interested in us. When the commission sent letters to the city managers asking if they'd be interested, this was I guess before the moratorium went into effect. North Miami was interested in half of us, and North Miami Beach was interested in the other half. And
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to conclude because we
are
over the time.
Well, anyway, I don't know if there's less than 250 voters in the chunk that's on the agenda tonight, 149th Street, but there goes another chunk of Biscayne Gardens where the people won't be allowed. They'll be denied self-determination. And then there's a big chunk you're taking that's going to take a Northwest 7th Avenue from 135th Street to 143rd Street. Now that's all commercial and industrial in that piece of property. That would really make the city of Biscayne Gardens, we may not be a viable city any longer. So what I'm here to do tonight is just to ask you to please be a good neighbor and let us proceed with the MAC process, and we may not make it. The residents may not vote to become their own city.
Thank you.
And if that happens...
We really need to stop because
okay.
You've been
if that happens, then we're up for grabs.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Any discussion? Council discussion? Ms. Keys?
No, I'm good with that.
Mr. Galvin?
No questions.
Vice Mayor Steril? No. Councilman Bien-Aimé? Thank you. Mr.
Mayor Thundwell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilman Bien-Aimé, Vice Mayor Steril, and Councilman Galvin.
No.
Yeah, that was a motion in a second. Item passes 4-1.
Thank you. Can we move on?
Tab M.
M.
Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the submittal of an application to Miami-Dade County to annex into the City of North Miami an area known as the Gratney-Dixie Annexation Area, comprised of 1, the unincorporated area northwest of West Dixie Highway from Northeast 119th Street on the south side and the Biscayne Canal on the north side, and 2, the unincorporated area bordered on the north side by Northeast 121st Street, on the east side by Northeast 1st Avenue, on the south side by 119th Street, and on the west side by the city limits, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Do you wish to speak,
Yes,
sir?
ma'am, I do.
Please go ahead and identify yourself.
Yes, my name is Skip Williams, the commander of the VFW Post 471, located at 11911 West Dixie Highway. And I'm here to find out exactly what's going on so I can report back to my comrades. And they told me to tell you that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, and that if we came into North Miami from Miami-Dade or whoever, we just voting for the lesser of the two evils. So they really under the impression that North Miami is like sharks in the water. Something going on and they don't understand it. So what I'm here tonight to find out is y'all for real? Because we don't understand it. You know, right now we in Dade County, we have no problems. Why would we move to North Miami? And what was the reason? And what we have to do to continue to be in Dade County? We only combat veterans. We're not regular veterans, and we don't understand what's going on. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, but I will find out one way or the other. And I have over, I guess you would call 250,000 combat veterans in the city of Miami. And if we have to march on North Miami, we will. You know, and that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, sir. You are very welcome to do so. Councilwoman, discussion? Do we have a motion?
Yeah, move it.
I do have a question for the city attorney and the city manager. I remember a while back when we anticipated to have some corner to annex to the city, the county had an issue with that. We were unable to do so. But somehow the county opened the door for us to annex wherever. If there was a reason, which I'm sure there is, but what we failed to do, we appear to be the bad guy. Instead of telling the people that the county tell us that, I don't want to say that it doesn't want you, but the county says that we can take you if we want to. Because that we love you, we choose to take you in. So I'm hoping the next time that we're sending a letter out, I'm not saying to do this behind the county back, but we need to make sure that to tell the people why is it the city we enter to the business of
annexation.
Our neighbors, because it seemed like, okay, we don't have enough tax, or we want to punish them, then we're pulling them in, but the county, it's so innocent, it has nothing to do with it. So I hope that between you and the legal sit down and come up with an explanation before that we come up here, which we're going through with this tonight. But for the future annexation proposition or application, please include in the letter why and how the process has taken place.
I totally agree with you, Vice Mayor, because listening to the people who have come forward, it seems like we are trying to do something to them when they don't want to. Maybe the best way to explain it to them, some countries have fought for their independence, others, Great Britain didn't want to take them anymore, and they said, I'll give you your independence. That's probably the best way for them to understand the process of annexation. And, I received several letters from constituents who are begging us to take them instead of taking our sister city, Opaloka, to take them. So it's like no way out type of thing. Some people do want to be annexed to the city of North Miami. Others are begging us to take them. And I think the best way to explain it to the people is to ensure that there is open communication and also explanation.
I move the item.
Do I hear a second?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk.
We have some discussion on this? I have a question.
That's what she was doing.
On this parcel, there are no voters, so there'll be no voting, there'll be no petition.
That's correct.
On the previous one, there's going to be a petition, correct?
There will be a petition.
And the voters will have it, on the first previous one we just voted on, the voters will have the option to vote yes or no. So they will have the final say.
To the mayor, that's correct.
Okay. And on this one, there are no voters, so there's no petition to be obtained and no vote. Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril.
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Mayor Thundrow.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab N, resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the submittal of an application to Miami-Dade County to annex into the city of North Miami an area known as the Biscayne corridor east annexation area bordered on the north side by Northeast 121st Street, on the east side by Biscayne Boulevard, including 3 parcels on the east side of Biscayne Boulevard identified by Miami-Dade County folio number 30223200000180, comma 30223200000270 and 30223200420010 on the south side by Northeast 116th Street and on the west side by Northeast 16th Avenue, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
Madam Mayor,
Public hearing?
I just have to say it's incredibly ironic if we do end up incorporating this area, because as a piece of history, the reason that those 2 towers at, what is it, 11900
00 and 12000.
and 12000 are where they are is because when they wanted to build those buildings 20 or more years ago, North Miami didn't allow any buildings over 4 stories high, so they went to this little pocket of the county outside of the city limits so that they could build some taller buildings. It's just ironic to me that now we want to have them in our city. So
Well,
that's all I had to say.
Time change? Time change too.
Times change.
Yes,
I know.
public hearing is now open.
Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I am very excited about this annexation. I spoke with Mr. Johnson at a chamber luncheon and brought it to his attention. And then he later told me that he and our city attorney took a ride past there, and that now that it does border our Whole Foods, it's right across the street from Home Depot. This should be in the city of North Miami. Our police are all over the place all the time. We pretty much service it with our police department because we're there. So I would recommend that we recommend this and pass it. Thank you.
Public hearing.
Good evening. Louise Poe, 12913 Exora Circle. I just want to say that I agree totally with what she just said, and I think it's a very good idea for the city to do it.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. You want to speak?
One of the concerns that I'm sorry, China, 1280 Griffin Boulevard. One of the concerns, sorry, I didn't grow past the 5th grade. One of the concerns that I have with all the annexations is really our police service. I feel like they're spread so thin as it is currently. How are we going to handle that with all of these extra residences? I mean, it's a lot of area. I think that the name shall remain nameless, Dr. Johnson, but one of our officers said that at any given time there's only 8 officers on staff for all of North Miami currently. With all of this additional real estate that we're picking up, I just don't know how we're going to handle that. It really concerns me. Thank you.
Thank you.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I too am supportive of this particular annexation, and I'm quite pleased and happy that we have a public discussion. I am perplexed, though, on some issues, such as the one prior with Biscayne Landing. I find it disturbing that the developers did not have a concise plan or presentation. There was no public presentation. They admitted to having multiple schemes. They don't know where they're going with it. Our council then says they're confused about what exactly is that we're voting on. There's no public discussion, and yet we have a definitive vote. I, for one, find that very perplexing, and I hope it doesn't happen in the future because this is very critical issues. In addition, I'm happy again that we have this time to speak regarding this issue, but I think it would also be helpful that if we have citizens forum at the beginning, it would be nice to have a wrap-up citizens forum. I know the meetings do go late, but it would be very nice to have some commentary towards the end on issues of the day of the particular meeting. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Clerk.
May I have a motion and a second? I don't have one yet, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Steril?
No.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
No.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yes.
Measure passes 3-2. Tab O. A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the selection of Countrywide Bills Lawn Maintenance, Inc. in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the invitation for bid number 16-12-13 Lawn Maintenance Services to provide lawn, landscaping, and irrigation maintenance services, including the application of fertilizers and pesticide at various locations throughout the city, and further authorizing the city manager to execute a professional service agreement in substantially the attached form at a cost not to exceed $250,000 per year, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Public hearing is open.
That's tab S.
Do I have a
Where we are?
That was
N.
tab O.
O as in
O as in ocean?
Yeah.
As in ocean.
I'll move approval.
Which O? Wait.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, public hearing is now open.
John Allred, 2672 Northeast 135 Street. Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Council, Manager, City Staff, bonsoir, hello. Congratulations on your victory. You had a very wonderful event over there at North Miami. I was present. That girl that sang is absolutely amazing, and I hope she goes on to sell millions and millions of records. No, you're about to vote on this. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary with Country Bills. Dad and I started this in 1988. We've been the successful low bidder with North Miami. That has been bid out about 6 times. All of our staff, 90% of it is North Miami residents, 90% Haitian American. They've always been that, very hard workers. And I know they would be very happy if you were to pass this. As well as I want to say thank you for passing that spine road. There wasn't much time for discussion because it seemed like it was going to pass, but there's a lot of work out there to be done. And I know that you can work it out with the developer, and I hope things continue to move forward that because there's a lot of jobs and there's a lot of opportunity for the citizens of North Miami and businesses of North Miami. And thanks to you and the manager's wisdom to put this all together and work with the developer gives us more opportunity to put food on the table, kids in school, buy school clothes and all of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Clerk.
Councilwoman Keys.
Discussion? Anybody who wishes to have a discussion on this? We're done.
Yeah.
You want to discuss, Vice Mayor? Just
No,
want to
I'm
make
okay.
sure. Councilwoman Keys, any discussion?
No.
Mr. Galvin? Mr. Bien-Aimé? Any discussion?
No.
Okay, Mr. Clerk?
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Mayor Thundro.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril. Councilman Bien-Aimé
Yes.
and Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab P. P is in Peter. An ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 2 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances to update, organize, and clarify specific sections of the chapter, including substantive, legal, stylistic, and organizational changes, while providing consistent use of terms and correction of Scrivener's errors, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Madam
Make
City
a motion
Attorney.
that we move this to the next council meeting.
Madam
I
City
second
Attorney, I would like to have more clarification before we move it to anything else. Can we? Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Clarification in terms of
The
what do you need
terms
to
are
What
so.
it is, exactly.
what it is.
Huh.
Okay.
I don't.
know
Sure,
what
I'm
it
not
is.
sure people understand really what you want exactly from this particular item.
And we didn't discuss that. And,
Okay.
we did
I
that
thought
for
that I
a second.
discussed it, but what it is, as you recall, we revised our charter from the last election. What I would like to do is go through, just as we cleaned up the charter, because many provisions in the charter were outdated and we had not looked at it holistically. So what I would like to do is go through our code to do the same thing. Many provisions are outdated, to reorganize the code, and so this is chapter 2. So if you look at the actual text of it, for example, section 2.276 updates the departments and that we have in the city. So it actually reflects all the departments that we currently have. Some of the departments we no longer have, so they've been removed.
But you need to explain us that before
We have a motion
you put it on
we
the
have a
agenda.
motion to move this to the next meeting.
I
And
second
just
it.
as we had moved another item, we
Let
had
me
no
ask something.
questions.
Let me ask something. Does that mean we need to recall the charter board to work on this?
No, ma'am. So this is the code now. We went through the charter.
Okay.
So this is the code of ordinances.
Okay.
And each code has a chapter. Okay, so this is chapter 2, which deals with the administration and the departments and so forth.
Okay.
of-
So there was a
of the
motion to
charter.
move it to the next
next meeting, given us
Next
time
meeting,
to-
seconded by Mr. Bien-Aimé.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Thundro.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilman Bien-Aimé.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab Q.
No, we removed.
would
Tab
remove.
Q.
I'm sorry,
Tab
tab Q
R.
was removed. Tab R. Request for streetscape and sidewalk funding utilizing $1 million of the $2 million undesignated Biscayne Landing funds and a reallocation of $500,000 from the $3.5 million that was previously allocated for future staff costs.
This is tab R. Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Are we, question, Madam Mayor?
Mhm.
Councilman Bien-Aimé, are you asking that we move funds out of where we had previously allocated and put them toward these sidewalk repairs?
No, the 2 million was unallocated fund. 1 million was from the 2000 unallocated fund and 500,000 from the 3.5 that was allocated for the employees.
Furlough day.
Make it 1.5 million.
I want to support this because I'd rather be spending money on sidewalks than salaries. Would you? But I'm also worried that we're going to just spend all our Biscayne Landing money and then it's gone.
Are you seconding the motion made by Mr. Bien-Aimé so we can have a discussion?
I'm not seconding it yet.
Thank you.
second the motion.
Thank you.
For discussion.
For the sake of discussion. So go ahead, Mr. Galvin.
Thank you, Madam
we-
Mayor. I'd love to just take the whole 1.5 million from the salaries and just apply it that way. And leave the untapped reserve untapped, or the remaining 2 million untapped, because this is where we should be spending Biscayne Landing money, not on staff salaries. Sorry, staff.
Isn't that the salary that we wanted to pay staff due to the fact that they had a furlough day for so many years? They have to go unpaid day, no
Right.
work, no day.
Yeah.
That we were supposed to pay them back that money.
And I had opposed it at
No.
the time because honestly, I think, and I know that we all sacrificed during the hard times. I appreciate the sacrifice of our staff. Lots of people out in this world lost their jobs and would kill to still have a job this whole time. From my standpoint, I didn't want to return anybody's salaries and raise them up higher and restore what they lost. Everybody just be thankful you still had a job. That's my point of view. So I'll vote for this tonight if all the money comes from the staff salary money and still leaves the untouched money untouched, because you never know when we're going to need that money. We don't get any more money from Biscayne Landing for another 2.5 years.
Well, what if we just take half of what we're supposed to pay staff back? Not all of it. I think that's harsh.
Well,
We put aside $3.5 million
Right,
for staff.
Right.
Yes.
And this, in
He
my
wants to
mind,
take the entire money from staff
No,
in
no.
order to do the sidewalks.
No,
Is
no,
that
let
correct?
me restate. The councilman is asking for 1.5 million for sidewalks. My suggestion or request is that the 1.5 million come strictly from the 3.5 for staff salaries. That would
I
still
second the motion.
Wait. So we have to do a friendly amendment.
No, not
is that
friendly. We
correct?
just
Yeah.
no.
We have to.
Yeah, that's
We
fine.
formulate this thing
Yeah.
here. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right, Madam Mayor. The councilman just make a friendly amendment to the motion of removing the $1.5 million from the allocation for
The
staff.
3.5 allocated
So
for staff.
the councilman Bien-Aimé second that motion. So are you
That's
willing
been the
to call for
2 million unallocated fund.
It's still on
Gonna stay
for
and
now.
we're gonna get the 1.5 from the 3.5
For now.
Roll call,
allocated
Mr.
for the
Clerk.
employee.
Excuse me,
Madam-
I'd like to say something. My turn. Okay. Through the budget meeting I had with Mr. Sori, we had allocated $3.5 million, I believe, for salaries. I believe in our coming 2014 budget, we have already taken $1.5 million out of there towards salaries. Is that not correct?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I wanted to just give you a point of information to help you better make a decision. 3.5 has been previously allocated by the prior administration. In doing that, we moved forward in balancing this upcoming budget with 1.5 million of the 3 million.
Of the 2.5.
Of the 3.5,
Mhm.
we've already allocated 1.5 to balance the budget. If you decide to use the money from the employees, then we would be forced to go into the unallocated portion anyway to balance the budget. So,
If I might, that doesn't make sense. If you had 3.5 for staff salaries,
mhm,
you've taken 1.5,
and that leaves 2 million left.
right? So we're taking then 1.5 of that 2 million. That still leaves you an extra 500,000.
That,
Councilman, can I tap into what you just said?
Right.
You know, the reason that we're having this discussion tonight is because that you guys gave us a schematic workshop last night. I was trying, and I tried my best to avoid that tonight. I asked to have a workshop on the budget, where I was expecting you guys to come and give us a workshop, a detailed workshop. Instead, you come and you just give me like a 5-minute presentation, and that was it. And tonight we're discussing the Biscayne lending money, and tonight
That's
we're
gonna be allocated to the next
discussing
budget that we
allocation
didn't
and
know.
all that, which we should have done that last night, and we would avoid the discussion. And because of that, too bad. What we're gonna do, since you don't have a balanced budget anyways, so you don't have to balance it with money that you don't have. So tonight, you're not gonna have it, so you're gonna have to balance the budget with whatever that you have. So what council I think that's need is money to invest on the constituent, to take it back, send it back to the city, to do the sidewalks that need to be done, beautification, infrastructure to sustain the city. So that's what's gonna happen tonight instead of do it last night. We had a whole time. Usually when we have workshop, we could have spent like hours discussing the budget. And then we would have known how much money did we need to balance the budget, as I asked you guys to do. We would have known what was the deficit and the increase. It was too much work. And you guys just come and give me like a 2-minute workshop. So
May
that's
I
what we
finish?
get for
I didn't get to finish. I was interrupted by the manager, which is okay. Going back to this, I am all for infrastructure and spending money on infrastructure. And one of my biggest items, including one of my requests for the budget, was to address sidewalks. If you look at the, Mr. Ghani I asked him today to please tell us what exactly was needed. He did a fantastic report. You'll see that District 2, my district, has the largest need or the highest amount of sidewalk repair needed. So I'm definitely in favor of this. But one of the reasons I've put on the agenda the last 2 nights, the Biscayne money landing money, is I would, before we just take it from one spot or from the unallocated or the teachers, I really was trying to get an understanding of what we really spent, what was allocated. Could we unallocate some of the money? I would really like a good understanding of what's left. And I have sort of a report from Mr. Sori, but we've allocated a lot of money. We put $1 million towards the library. Hopefully we're going to get $500,000 grant. We need a little money for some other things in the library, but maybe there's about another $400,000 from the library. We've allocated $1 million to PAL. Are we going to use a full $1 million for the building, which is part of our other discussion? So we're.
Can we finish? We will do
so
that.
we really
the
need to find out.
Biscayne Landing.
We really need to firm up. What do we have with Biscayne Landing money? Where is it? And I also would like to see where we really are with the budget. And before we spend it, I'd like to see what we have.
We already seconded. Can I ask you a quick question, City Manager?
Sure.
How much money was put on the budget for sidewalk last year? About
I believe it
15,000.
was very little. I think
About
it was about
15.
6,000.
In the budget for sidewalk last year.
$6,000
Yeah.
for sidewalk?
Yes.
Last
Seriously? I mean, are you serious, City Manager?
Yes.
$6,000 for sidewalk?
Yes.
In the budget.
We're overdue for 1.5 million. Staff, tighten your belts.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
There is no need. Let's just move on.
Can we move on?
Roll call, please.
Yeah.
Councilman Benjamin.
Yes. We finished with that.
Councilman Galvin.
We don't do
We
public
didn't.
hearings.
Point of clarification, did we do public discussion? Do we
It's
need
not
to?
necessary.
It's not necessary on this item.
Why isn't it necessary?
It's sidewalks, street beautification. We surface
What
our
there
streets
is to
in the
discuss?
district.
Come on,
Roll
guys.
call, Mr.
Point of
I don't-
personal privilege, since I was the one who was up for vote at this moment, point of personal privilege, may I afford 30 seconds to Mr. Anise to come up and weigh in on the matter?
Well, if we do afford it to him, we have to afford it to all these people who wish to speak on it. When this is an item that not request any public hearings.
It's on the agenda and public forum is already over, so they'll never get to speak.
Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr.
Sorry.
Anise, 30 seconds. If
Mayor
you will, please.
Thundrow.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Councilman Galvin.
I'm unclear on what just happened with the 30 seconds of.
We're doing the roll call, Councilman Galvin. That was the direction from the mayor. Councilman Galvin, your vote, please.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys
Yes.
and Vice Mayor Steril.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0. Tab S
Thank you.
now. Did we remove tab S off the agenda or we kept it on there? I don't remember if we
We-
voted
It's
on
removed
it.
to be replaced at a
I moved
later
it for
time.
later discussion because I
Thank
would
you.
like some further clarification.
Tab T.
No, I just have a quick question.
Okay.
The tab that you removed, the discussion on the Biscayne lending money or
No, the allocation.
the allocation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
allo-
one that you moved?
It was the allocation, where we're at. How much have we spent? How much have we allocated? How much can we unallocate? I really, and that's part of this money. So maybe we can reallocate some back over to the employees if necessary.
next.
Okay.
Also, I'm moving it till after the budget to see what money we need to help with the budget.
I think this discussion should take place during the budget hearings.
Yeah.
Perhaps a good
If
idea.
you don't
Thank
mind.
you.
Yeah.
And
Mr.
just for
Clerk,
point of
move on.
clarification, Mayor and Council, tab R was passed with the amendment provided by Councilman Galvin and seconded by BNMA.
Yes.
Just for the
What is-
record.
Yes.
Tab T.
Can we
The
ask,
old
can we ask a question?
1.5.
Can I ask a question, please? Madam Mayor, we just approved $1.5 million of allocation, and we have, according to Public Works, Mr. Ghani, we have, for those who haven't seen it, the sidewalk repairs needed in the city is $2,952,000. That is to repair the sidewalks in our city.
Are you back on an item that have been voted?
I had a question.
Well, it's
You've
been
been
voted.
voted.
We have to move on.
It's not for vote. I'm just
You
asking,
vote.
how are we allocating that?
I think she's asking a question regarding the presentation that you have on.
Well, I mean,
That
it's
Mr.
not, I
Galvin
mean, we
has?
voted on it, but the question is, is there any discussion, or how do we know how we're allocating it? Is it
It's
pro
gonna be
rata,
1.
or is it all going to Mr. Bianame's district?
To District
That's for
3.
the city. It's for the city.
District 3, no, not the city.
It's for the
District-
city.
No, District 3.
That
It's
was
for the
not-
city,
Did
Did you
Mr.
guys read
No.
did you guys read
Read
The amendment that Mr. Galvin have made on this one,
Is to change the money, the allocation.
the allocation of the money.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the fund is going to District 3.
No
Can
way.
That's what it is.
That's not what this says.
Madam Mayor, may I say?
Go ahead,
may I-
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Since Madam City Attorney, help me out in the legal ways of doing that. If we want to discuss the remainder of the Biscayne lending money, including what was allocated for staff, can we just do it out of a discussion now, or it has to be advertised?
If you want to just discuss an item, yeah, absolutely, you can discuss the
Sure.
item.
So let's open the can of worms. Let's discuss the remainder of the Biscayne lending money.
I want to bring back this motion, since I'm in one of, I voted yes, and I want to bring this back to clarify this, because I did not vote to give $1.5 million of our Biscayne landing money to District 3. And that's why I'm asking this question. That's not what the resolution says. And District 3 doesn't even have $1.5 million worth of sidewalk repair necessary. So we need to clarify that this evening.
Right, so it's not a resolution, it's not a resolution, it's a request?
No, my question is, I did not hear the motion of Mr. Bianame to say that we were taking $1.5 million for sidewalk repair out of our Biscayne Landing Fund solely for District 3.
What's the
I thought-
resolution said?
There is no resolution.
No,
This is
yes, we
the
just
request.
voted. That was
He
a
made a
request.
motion. He made
a motion to a request of $1.5 million
For
to
District
put District
3?
for
District
District 3.
3.
Okay.
I'm-
There is a remainder of three.
I'd like to recall that my vote, or however we do that, because I did not hear that, and I would never have voted for $1.5 million strictly for one district. If we're taking $1.5 million out of our Biscayne landing funds, it needs to be spread pro rata equally.
That was a request.
But that was your motion.
Okay.
I request that.
And you voted on it.
And you
Well, I did not hear. I
Okay,
did not
Madam
hear that.
City Attorney, how do we
No,
go by
Then
that?
We're not going anywhere.
Then
Let
I'm
me
recalling
finish.
the vote. As
We're not-
one of the, as
we're
one
not
of the
going anywhere.
voters who
Let me
voted yes,
finish.
I would like to have a recall of
Madam,
that vote.
may I finish? May I finish? Because I think I had the floor before then. Madam, Mr. City Manager, how much money from, since we removed $1.5 million, and I understand that we had $3.5 million set aside for staff. I don't like the word that we said staff. It seems like we're taking something away from staff, what it was never been allocated yet. It was putting aside. And we have another 2 point, what? Was it $2 million or 2 point something?
We have 2 million unallocated.
Flat?
Well, I would have to do
I
some.
count my cents
Sure.
and pennies.
What happened, Vice Mayor, through the mayor, there were some items before the transition of this council.
I understand that, but I was expecting you guys to do the math before you bring it before us.
We have the
Budget?
math. It's $2.2 million.
Okay, now we're
But-
talking.
Okay.
2.2 million. What I'm saying is that the 2.2 million dollars has nothing to do with the money that we already allocated or money that we already voted on. 2.2 million that has not been allocated.
That's correct.
Correct. Plus 2.2 plus 1.5. I'm assuming, since my math is not good, that's 3.7. That's left as of now. Yeah.
It should be 4.
unallocated,
You
should be
just
4.2.
3.5 was allocated for staff. You in this motion you
Forget
took
about.
1.5.
Let's not using the word
right.
for.
Okay.
Let's just pretend that the 3.5 million that we have on the side, in case if we decided to give staff a raise or to give back fellow days or whatever, that was a 3.5. From what I understand, what just take place tonight, we just took it from that, which yeah, we
That
voted
leaves-
to remove it from that, the
and that
1.5
leaves-
million.
That leaves 2 million.
That's no.
And-
That's leave us with 1.5 million from the one that we said we allocated for staff.
No, leave us with 2.
It's
It was
2 million,
3.5.
Vice Mayor.
What was it?
It was
total was
3.5. You took
3.5.
1.5.
Ah,
That
okay,
leaves
that's
2.
Okay,
Yes.
and
I'm
then
confused with the
so
other
that's
2.
why it's 4.2.
So we have 4.2.
That's,
Okay.
you have
So since it seemed
2 of which is unallocated, 2 which is
Oh,
allocated.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
4.2.
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Scott Galvin mentioned earlier that he does not want to spend the money because he wants something to stay in reserve in case if anything happened. But I just want to clarify that we did put $5 million on the side.
Okay,
So what we have right now, here's my concern. I think I shared the same concern with the rest of the council. When we were looking at the budget last night, that I heard a lot of buzz about it, that we have allocated about 55 to 60% of the budget for salaries.
No, 51%, right? From last
51,
night.
56, same thing to me.
55%.
Over 50%. Okay, let's put
Over
it over
50%.
50%.
Okay, over
okay?
50%. And unfortunately, I overlook at the amount of the money that we spent for, I would say, infrastructure, including, I would say, sidewalks, $6,000 out of 140 something million dollars or more.
This year.
So last year, I'm just trying to open a discussion up here. If we want to reallocate that money, I'm being nice tonight. I'm giving you guys a chance to bring it back to the council to reallocate the money. I am feeling that when we're fighting among ourselves for districts that have money, we forget that those districts are within the city of North Miami. We have to learn how to take care of each other. Because I remember 8 years back where my district was the least, I would say, let me leave it as that. I know how hard that I fought to make sure that my district is not the best district in the city. I still want more and more, but I know that I have good council members and mayor that actually supported my cause to provide the service that my district are enjoying right now. And I think we should continue support. And I think the Councilman Bieneme district has been neglected as well. And I think it's time. I drove into his district when I see that money. It's a district that probably have, 10% sidewalks. And it's a shame.
It is.
Nobody have never paying attention within staff or us in the council.
Especially
and
when there's a school in that district where children are walking.
And from the allocation money from the Biscayne Landing,
so I
nothing
think
was allocated
we
for the
should
district.
pay attention more into the city. It's hard that I'm saying that now, than just district. If a district if they allocate a certain amount of money to a district, I think there's a big budget. We should fight to find money or project for our district instead of spending the time fighting among us against a district. It seems like the district is in Haiti, the other one is in Cuba, which all of us is in the city. Having saying that, I am asking that we put back the or we sit down with different council to see if they have any other project. When I mean project, I'm not saying that pending here, pending there, specifically infrastructure. I think it's time for our city to look much, much, much better than how it is now, for the sidewalk in the entire city actually to taken care of. What I wish to ask is to continue the 131st Street, because my constituent on the east side of 7th Avenue, it's really killing me right now because they feel like they're being neglected. We don't provide the same services. That's not my discussion tonight. But what I'm saying is that let's take that money, let's meet with council throughout the week to see exactly what they will have to see in that district, and then we'll bring it back.
Okay, can we listen to
That's
Councilwoman Key's concern?
Go
ahead.
9 in 4.2, right?
Okay, I would like to bring this back next time to talk about this. We have we have just allocated $1.5 million for sidewalks.
Not sidewalks.
Well, there's
if you read
infrastructure.
But there's only 500,000 of sidewalk repair needed.
That's not for sidewalk. I did not ask the money for sidewalk.
I think the word is share.
If you read the packet,
I think the word is share, and I think the entire city needs infrastructure and sidewalks. And District 2, my District 2 covers from all the way to the Biscayne Bay. This city our city hall, our North Miami High School. We have a lot of area in District 2 also, so it's not.
Councilwoman.
Shouldn't we go with the proposition that the Vice Mayor just made? I don't think it will take us anywhere tonight to have a discussion of whose district needs more money, more repairs, or more sidewalk. I believe that we need to move forward with this agenda and go ahead and announce that we could sit down and have have a discussion among us and advertise it so we can see which district needs what. So when we come here as one body, we can have one understanding of what we're going to ask for our district.
Okay, just for final clarification, that what was moved and passed was $1.5 million from the 3.5 for District 3 for sidewalk beautification and other infrastructure repairs.
We're done.
Is that's what's
done? And
just wanted to clarify the record.
There's no clarification.
The recommendation that I just gave is for us to sit with the city manager regarding how we would like to move or proceed with the rest of the money.
Tab T, can we move on, Mr. Clerk?
Discussion of city's memorandum of understanding with the Police Athletic League, PAL.
Okay. Tonight is my night with PAL that I love dearly, that I know the community love, the police department love. So where are my PAL people? By the way, who's the executive director for PAL? The chief of police. Okay, the chief, and who's the chair?
I'm the deputy executive director of PAL.
Okay, so I think all of you needs to come forward. Mine, I don't have a problem with PAL per se, but I think from listening to, you can use the mic, from listening to different constituent and different discussion that we have up here regarding PAL, it has not been clear the relationship between the city and PAL.
Oh, I was enlightened this afternoon when I heard Major Braden at one of the schools says that PAL was different entities from the city.
It is.
I would like to have more clarification because I've been advertising for PAL and I love the work that they've been doing, but I'm glad you bring them here. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
My pleasure, Madam Mayor. Anytime.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I don't want people to start thinking about like this is the discussion going against PAL. Actually, it should be for the betterment of the city in PAL, because we have been investing a lot of money in PAL. We put in our budget, I think, $100,000 or $150,000 last year.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I went
the budget.
for the peer tutoring program.
Yeah,
yes.
and whatever that PAL do, we support it. And right now, we are about to invest another $1 million. That's a lot of money for a non-for-profit or for someone that you're not even married with. So, but anyways. Mine, when I sit down with the city attorney and the city manager, wondering what is the relationship. Nobody knows what the relationship, where PAL coming from, we all know, but what PAL doing in my living room, nobody knows. So tonight, if council agree with me, I will give I will recommend to the city attorney and the city manager to draft or sitting down with PAL chair or whomever better suited for this kind of meeting to draw what is it? An agreement. The same. I'm thinking that the same thing is gonna happen. Is the same relationship that we have with MOCA. That MOCA is a separate entity, has a board, but yet again it's part of the city. We gladly spending money on MOCA, but we clear that what kind of relationship that we have. So I am making a motion, or I don't think it should be a motion. I think it's a recommendation that if we agree on for you guys to sit down, and we should have the privilege to sit down with you to tell you exactly what we like to see happen in the agreement, and then bring it before us, then we'll take a vote or we'll discuss it a little bit more. Yeah. So that's my recommendation, Madam Mayor.
Very good. Why did you have them come forward to
No, in case if there is, I just wanted to punish them. In case if there was a question, but while I'm talking, I realized that we should not ask questions tonight. We should give recommendation for them to
have a clear understanding of what the city's relationship with PAL is and where we're going with it and what were our role and our boundaries Within PAL, is that correct?
Correct.
Councilwoman Keys, any comments? And you want to add something to what
That's my baby.
Vice Mayor has just suggested to the city manager?
No, I agree that we should have an agreement with PAL. I would like to, we've allocated a great amount of money, and I think the previous council, we got a piece of paper with about 5 numbers on it and said, we need $1 million, and I would like to see something in greater detail, what it is that we're going to do to make sure that PAL is going to go through the right process for getting a contract. I know you're doing an RFP, but making
Right.
sure that everything is done properly, and that if we're going to be giving $1 million, that we do have some say and control over that money to make sure that it's a good building, a good program.
Thank
So-
you. Councilman Galvin, you agree? Mr. Clerk?
No, we just
Shall we-
we just come with recommendation. I mean, it just
It's a recommendation. We don't need to vote on it. We're just going to bring it back to council after we have draft an agreement
Yes.
and a
so
well understanding of our
relationship,
relationship
formal
with PAL.
relationship with PAL.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk?
you guys should continue standing. That's it.
That's it.
Come on.
Very sports.
That was too fast. It's not even 10 o'clock yet.
Very sports. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Clerk, can we go
Why
with
don't we
council?
do it now?
We go to council reports. That's where we are.
Oh, okay.
And we're starting with Councilwoman Keys.
Okay.
Council report.
Okay, I had requested, this will take a little bit of time, I'm sorry. I had requested an add-on item this evening, which didn't quite happen. Number one, I'd like to know if Laura Reynolds is here. Okay. Laura Reynolds is the executive director of the Tropical Audubon Society. And we have somewhat of an emergency in our city, and I had advised Ms. Reynolds that it would be an add-on that she could speak. I got a notice from Ms. Reynolds that the Department of Environmental Protection has identified 2 parcels in the city of North Miami to surplus. That parcel is our mangrove wetlands in between Biscayne Landing and FIU, halfway between the Biscayne Landing project, going south, bordering 135th Street, the townhouses, the trailer parks in North Miami Beach, all the way down and contiguous to our Arch Creek Preserve. That means surplus means they're going to sell the property. We do not own it, but it is in our city. What I would like is a point of privilege to allow our executive director of the Tropical Audubon Society. If you could keep it to 2 minutes, I would like her to just tell us. The reason it is an emergency is the department is going to be holding a meeting in September 9th or 13th, and they are looking for public input. We did not get a lot of notice, and they're getting ready to surplus our land, our wetlands, and our comprehensive plan is very specific in several areas, and it states, I wish I had it, that we are supposed to maintain and improve our environmental quality, and we should be an active participant to ensure the future development and activities do not negatively impact our identified estuarine systems. Basically, we are supposed to closely work with DERM and all of the agencies to maintain and improve our environmental quality, protect, conserve, and enhance our coastal resources and our wetlands. And
didn't you just mention that we do not own that property?
We do not own it.
But it's within the city.
It is within the city.
Who owns
and
it?
The state. It's owned by the state.
The state does.
But they're
okay.
getting ready to sell it. Why would anybody want to spend approximately $5 million to buy that land if it wasn't to develop? I have spoken to our developer, Mr. Swerdlow, who has assured me that it is not him. He is not involved. He knew nothing of this activity. He does not want it. He does not want to purchase it. He wants it to remain, and he also said he would cooperate with the city to make sure that this was not done. And I'm going to be asking for our council to allow us to have a resolution next week so we can send it up to the Department of Environmental Protection to protest this. And Ms. Reynolds could be a little bit more eloquent as to what's really going on, and I'd like her to be able to say something.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Keys, for inviting me here, and thank you, everybody, for listening to this item. I think it's super important. I'm not really sure why the state is going through this process now, considering that if you've been reading the news, you see that we're going through a little bit of a state of emergency with the water quality. I don't know if any of you have seen the fact that we've got algal blooms all over the state, and keeping public land in public ownership will help us deal with those issues. So in general, I think the state process that's going on right now is counterproductive to our tourism economy. We're already seeing tourism numbers go down because of the fact that we're having all these algal blooms. And so I think it's really important to our economy to keep these parks intact. And what's happening is this administration is going through a process of dumping a lot of the lands that they're not using. And what they did is they looked at an evaluation of this property and says it's worth a lot of money. And so it went to the top of the list. And for that reason, we don't know whether they want to develop it or whether they want to create a mitigation bank or something. Whatever it is, it's privatization of land somehow. And it's a scheme for the state to make money. These were put into public ownership in 1980, and the Tropical Audubon Society was involved in that process. We were able to get Bob Graham at the time to protect these lands, and it was open to the public in 1985. And I don't know if you've ever been to the park, but I spend a lot of time there myself, and I think it's a jewel in the state Parks Department. So if you get a chance to go there, wonderful. There's kayaking and hiking and biking there. It's a beautiful place. I encourage you to do that. I do have a map of the two parcels. It equals 150 acres. I can pass this around so that you can take a look at it. And I can also send you an email with the parcels identified. I think sending a resolution and a letter at this time is exactly what we need. We're directing our members and anyone who we've made contact with on this issue to send in their comments and ask the state to remove these two parcels from the surplus list. I think having this in your backyard can only be a benefit to your local economy, and I think it would be a perfect thing for you to do, to either send a personal letter or this council could send a resolution at this time. And I do have the email addresses where this should go. The person in charge of this process at DEP is Susan C. Grandin, and the public is directed to send emails to ARC_mailing list at dep.state.fl.us. And so I will turn in not only the letter that I sent to Council Member Keys, but also the map for the record. And I did leave some history here. I just wanted to keep my comments to 2 minutes, but there is also some history of how this...
Your time is way over, but thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Since this was
Really?
very important. Yes, way over, but this is very important, and I think it was
Thank
worth
you.
listening to what you have to say.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
turn this in. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
And Madam Mayor, I sat in on a teleconference the other day, and Laura was outstanding in that the questions she asked of the State Department of Environmental Regulation. You did a great job, Laura. Thank you very much.
Yes. This is Councilwoman Keys' report.
I know that's her report, but I do have a question for the city attorney. No, not you, okay, I'm sorry. For the city attorney. I heard about the issue. Can't hear you. Sorry. I heard about the issue. I drove with the city manager around to see exactly what was going on. From what I understand, I thought that I was all in until that I realized that was the state land. I goes, ouch. Even though if we come to an agreement, if they agree with us to save the land, not to sell the land. Right. But there's one thing that I'm not sure that we address is the fact that the state actually set that land, for lack of better words, aside. What's the terminology? Preserve. Mm-hmm. Preserve.
So this one thing that I think that we not address is not about not selling the land or give up. I would love, to me, I would like to advocate to have to give it to the city of North Miami. But the point is, it's not the issue. So if there is a preserve notice or clause or what have you, should we go the other way around, asking them to keep it as a preserve or fighting them not to sell it?
I think probably saying both.
So,
yeah, I think probably.
However, I think however we can keep it in public ownership, whether it becomes a
preserve
local
or not?
Yeah, whether it becomes a local park or it stays part of the state land coffers, I think initially we're asking them to remove it from the surplus list and keep it as part of Oleta River State Park. If we get down the road, I plan on going in September to try to take it off the list.
But maybe we're discussing. I mean, I'm thinking about two different parcels right now. You're talking about Oleta, and I'm thinking about the one by FIU. Is it two different ones, or is it the same one?
I think they call the whole area
Oleta.
Oleta. But the 150 acres that is in reference
What is
is
it?
owned by the 150 acres
Mhm.
that we pointed out just at the end of the 135th Street to the left, if you recall.
Adjacent to FIU.
Adjacent to
Yeah, so that's the one that you mentioned that you're
Yeah.
referring to Oleta.
Yeah,
but it
that-
has nothing to do with the Oleta State Park that I know of.
Well, currently it's
They might merge through water, but
Right,
not
it's-
the same site.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
adjacent to the state park, and it's owned by the state, and so is
Yeah,
Oleta.
that I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So-
any way we can keep it in public ownership.
Yeah, but I would, well, since we're not voting on it, I share the interest that to talk to the state to see exactly what is it exactly that they want to do with it, because it's personally I can care less if they sell it, if they keep it, if they give it to the city, but we want to know from them exactly, because I don't like dealing with rumors. And as
Right.
elected officials, two elected officials or two DEP, this is rumors that we hear what they might be doing with it. I think the best thing that I know, Scott,
I
is
have their
very good.
website. What they're wanting to do with this is they want to sell this land so they can get money so they can buy other lands. So
Right.
they're looking to surplus, sell this to private ownership.
Yeah, but the point
They're,
is
they're
that-
looking for money to buy other land.
Right. They don't think it's important.
Not a rumor. This is from the DEP website.
I know. I
Okay.
read it, Carol. I said that I show
Did you-
interest.
did
I
you read
even
the
go to
website, the
to
DEP
yes,
website?
I did.
Okay.
But my thing is, I would suggest, I'm not for it or against it, as I just mentioned, but I'm suggesting that we take an active role by meeting with our state rep or whomever, the governor's office, DEP, meeting with them to know exactly where they want to go with that, and then we as a city knowing exactly where we want to go, because setting a resolution says don't sell it, that's not going to make them not to sell it, that's theirs.
Yes, it
but
will.
sitting, okay, trust me, as an activist work sometime, but sitting, having conversation work better from experience. So
I would encourage you to talk to Susan Grandin. I think they're in Tallahassee, so you won't be able to meet with them, but talking to them on the phone.
Yeah.
But I think you weighing in as the local government body is really important. So thank you again for
not weighing, but sending a resolution to another city or state as having a conversation with them, showing interest or understand exactly where they're coming from, exchange communication. Those are, to me, that's more effective.
Yeah,
so
the,
anyway, I'm done.
So the idea is to
Thank you.
instruct
I'm done.
to the city manager to
No,
go ahead and
we
make
need to stop being
appointments
lazy and
with the
talk.
state representatives and find out exactly what is what. Is that correct? Is that what you want, Ms. Keys, before we come up with a
Yes,
resolution?
I've already contacted our Senator Gwen Margolis, who's looking into it, who, this is her district, and also Commissioner Hayman, who, this is also lies in her district. So they are also looking into it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You have more reports?
Quickly, I would just like to make a comment on Citizens Forum. When I first looked at the agenda Thursday night, I saw Citizens Forum, tab 8, which was before our consent agenda, and was also at the end of the meeting. And that's how it was originally published. And I thought, this is terrific. We get to speak before and after.
Wow.
Speaking before is great for those people, as some people came up this evening, they have something they want to say. They really don't want to wait till midnight to say it. They do get to say their piece and leave. And I think that is just a terrific service to our citizens. A lot of other cities do that. The problem is a lot of items come up at a meeting. Again, we just had a discussion. I tried to make it an agenda item. We had some other discussion items, but the public was not allowed to speak. The consent agenda, the public is not allowed to speak. So they don't really know what it is to say before we talked about it. I think the public should have a second chance after our meeting, after they've heard our discussions, after all of this stuff has come up. There's a lot of people that really, we are doing a disservice by not allowing them to speak. So, as Mr. Prevotel said, I think a follow-up public forum would be really fair to the people. Thank you.
Does that conclude your report?
That's it.
Mr. Galvin?
Thank you. I'll just keep it simple and again echo the sentiment that the mayor expressed at the top of the meeting, with our sympathies going out to the family of Clarence Patterson. Had the honor of working alongside of him for several years as he was our city manager, of course. Bertie lights up the room when she comes in, and I can only imagine how they must feel. He had a daughter in college at the University of Florida, and the shock of it all. Obviously, we'll share the funeral arrangement information with everybody, but I want to also echo our shared sympathy to the Patterson family. And on obviously a little bit of a lighter note, I want to say thank you to Bonnie Clearwater. I didn't realize she'd actually left the city of North Miami already until I called there Friday to ask about Optic Nerve, which is the annual film festival, and they said, oh, well, Bonnie's no longer with the city. I don't know if we have still a party or something in the works to say goodbye or farewell, but Bonnie Clearwater put the Museum of Contemporary Art on the map internationally, and it is a true engine that drives an economy and drives a culture here in North Miami, and we have her to thank for it. Of course, Luann Kolodny before her, but Bonnie had put in a good 15 years on her own, and I just say thank you, Bonnie. Good luck in Fort Lauderdale, Lee Feldman, for continuing to steal our talent, and we wish you very much the best. And that's all I've got tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Bien-Aimé.
Instead of a report tonight, I want to thank the residents of the Griffin area, Griffin Boulevard, for coming in and support me in that matter. Since now we have the money, and we're going to be able to work together and make District 3 a better district. Thank you.
All good for the city. Vice Mayor Steril.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to echo you as well to send my sympathy to the Patterson family, and also sympathy from my family to yours as well. We know that you lost our uncle last Saturday, so I was able to go to the viewing. Sympathy goes to you. And also, which I'm still upset with the clerk that lost a brother that he did not tell me, and I heard that late, so I really, really feel sorry about it, sir, and I hope that you have a chance to make up for it. But again, sympathy goes to your family as well, and I apologize for unable to participate because we didn't know about it. One of the question that I have, I heard a lot buzz about the citizen mobile patrol that the police department is initiate. Unfortunately, I don't think that I ever heard about it, except that people calling me, it was on TV. I think it's a good thing, but mine, I don't see any, the chief is not here, any police here tonight that can actually address the concern, but goes through the city manager. One thing that I heard, the citizens don't have to live in the city. Is that true? Or do you know anything about it?
I don't know anything about that,
Okay.
but it's open up for all of
If-
North Miami residents.
If that's so, it would be a concern of mine. I would like for you to make sure that you talk to the chief of police to make sure that those citizens that will be part of the citizens patrol is resident in the city of North Miami for a couple of reasons. Because I know that we're gonna have police car out there. They're not gonna get paid. There will be volunteers, but it's people will interested to participate, but we wanted to make sure that it's the citizens of the city of North Miami that have the privilege to serve their own city and their own people as well. So, and congratulations to the mayor and the chief of police or the staff that actually come up with this idea. I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much. It's only 10 o'clock and I'm leaving. I'm going home early.
Me too.
So congratulations, Madam Mayor, for, we have, not yet, I'll wait for your report. Congratulations for, conducting a meeting with such a long items, but you were able to finish it on time or before time, I would say.
Thank you, Vice
Good
Mayor.
job.
Thank you. We will be studying our new fiscal year for the year 2013-2014. And we have had the opportunity to go to several schools and welcome the students for this academic year. And I would like to thank those of you who have joined me in visiting those schools and speaking to our youth. I think it's something wonderful because the children are our future and they're the one who will take over very soon, sooner than we expect. And I would like to thank the staff and the council also for their note of sympathy, the flowers that were sent to my uncle's death, and Mr. Clerk as well for your brother who have passed away. We were in Orlando at the time of the funeral. That's why probably Vice Mayor Sterill was not aware of a death. And I am hoping that our city will take active part in the funeral of Mr. Patterson. He has been a long-time resident, and his widow has been very active in our community, and we will show how togetherness can bring this city as one to honor one of its citizens, especially somebody in the caliber of Mr. Clarence Patterson, who have served our city as a city manager. This is all. I'm concluding my report. Mr. City Clerk, do you have any report?
Yeah, we have two majors. The first thing we have, by law, we have to conduct the vice mayor election today, and then we have a couple of board appointments that were made. So at this time, Vice Mayor Sterill is our current mayor. She has been for the past 6 months. Today marks last council meeting marked the rotation of the 6-month period. I need a motion and a second to either reappoint Vice Mayor Sterill or to appoint someone else.
I'd like a motion to appoint Councilman Galvin. I think it's time, and him being the senior council person, I'd like to nominate him.
Do I have a second? Motion fails.
Well, thanks a lot, guys.
You didn't say whether or not you accepted. Mr. Clerk.
Motion? You have a motion, Mayor?
No, I don't have a
Oh.
motion.
For the record, I was willing to accept. I haven't been in a long
Did you
time.
second it yourself?
Okay, so motion don't fail. Councilwoman Keys made a motion to appoint Scott Galvin as vice mayor. It was seconded by Vice Mayor Sterill. May I have a roll call vote? Councilwoman Keys?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin?
Yes.
He should skip himself. He should not be voting.
Vice Mayor Sterill?
Yes.
Mayor Thundro?
I don't know.
I promise I'll behave.
There's already 3 votes.
Can I say something before I vote?
Absolutely, Mayor.
I don't mind voting Mr. Galvin, but he has to understand that you and I have to work closely and with respect. Councilwoman, Vice Mayor. No, we're not going to. Daddy, we're not going to. But it's okay. I will vote for Mr. Galvin to become the vice mayor.
Thank you. I promise to give you faith.
And Councilman Bien-Aimé. Okay, that sounds like an affirmative. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Galvin. And the second, I have all of Councilwoman Steril's appointment. I'm just going to read out the appointments and the board, and we can just get a motion second so we can do it expeditiously. Yeah, I have to read the names of the people. I have to let them know what we're
Do it
voting
fast,
on.
like it's a car
Yeah, exactly.
commercial.
Okay, Advisory Committee on the Disabled, Clint Bauer. Board of Adjustment, Jeffrey Mondesir. Charter Board, Clarence Merck. Community Relations Board, Disaster Preparedness Board, Chimeras St. Ame. Health Facility Authority Board, Jessica Austin. Parks and Recreation Commission, Martine St. Ame, Evans Henry. Planning Commission, Charles Ernest. And Youth Opportunity Board, Martin Sovereign, Marna Francois. May I have a motion to approve Councilwoman's decisions to the board?
Yes.
May I have a second?
Second.
Anyone wishes to record a no? Measure passes 5-0. Now you have about 4 more appointments. My office will send you an email of the remaining appointments, Councilwoman Steril. Councilman Bien-Aimé have made 3 appointments. First one was the Business Development Board, Mary Irvin. Personnel Board, Mary Irvin. Community Relations Board, Mary Irvin.
I'll second those.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Anyone who wishes to record a no? Measure passes unanimously. Councilman Galvin. Advisory Committee on the Disabled, Cherry Doctor. Board of Adjustment, Michelle Garcia. Charter Board, Ken Each. Community Relations Board, Cherry Doctor. Health Facilities Authority, Kim Marks. Nuisance Abatement Board, Dr. James B. Tracton. Parks and Recreation Commission, Karen DeLeon and Ed Molinier. Planning Commission, Jason James. Senior Citizens Board, Jill Brothers. And Youth Opportunity Board, Heather Holliday, Marna Pavelak. May I have a motion to approve the board appointments?
So moved.
Second, please.
Yes.
Anyone wishes to record a no? Measure passes 5-0. Councilwoman Keys. Advisory Committee on the Disabled, Douglas Highmarsh. Board of Adjustment, Holly Cohen. Business Development, Nuisance Abatement Board, Kenny Each. Parks and Recreation Commission, Nancy K. Bloom and Jason Nevis. Planning Commission, Bill Pravatel. Senior Citizens Advisory Board, Sandra E. Dialone Cum. University Relations Board, Bonnie Schwartzbaum. Youth Opportunity Board, Michael Holliday and Lucas Baker. May I have a motion to approve the board appointments?
Motion.
Second.
I had, I had also put in for the education Quality Education Advisory Board. I had sent an email to you and Ms. Vieira to reappoint Sandy Baker Hoover. Could you add that to the list, please?
Absolutely. Quality Education Advisory Board, Sandy Baker Hoover. I have a motion from Lucy and a second from Vice Mayor Galvin. Anyone who wishes to record a no? Measure passes 5-0. And Mayor Thunder is still working on her appointments. We do have some names from her, but she's going to finish her appointments the next council meeting. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Manager's report.
Mayor and Vice Mayor and Council, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the Mayor for being recognized in the Miami Herald by Legacy magazine as one of 2013 25 most influential and prominent women in business and leadership in South Florida. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, thank you.
City Attorney.
Yes,
Yeah, right, everybody wants to go home.
City Attorney's report. You have any report, City Attorney? I'm sorry, I
None
skipped
for me,
you.
thank you.
No report. Okay,
She's
so
sleeping.
motion to adjourn this session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Fare thee well, everyone.
No, she give. That's mine. But she can.